Hey y'all, James here. I'm a product manager on the Stripe Apps team, and I'm excited to say that we have opened up the Stripe Apps marketplace to all developers. No more waitlist. You can submit your apps to merchants today. In this video, I want to give you a quick walkthrough of the app publishing experience and talk a little bit about some things that I would recommend if you're thinking about putting an app on the marketplace. Um, so let's get into the publish experience really quickly, and then at the end, I'll give you a couple of things that I've seen helping people get apps into the ecosystem so far. So as an app developer, you come to your Stripe dashboard and navigate over to the Developers tab. At the bottom, you'll see apps there, and you can see I've got a test Stripe app here that I'm going to go through the publish flow for. So I can then grab the app. One thing I do want to call out is choosing how you distribute your app is really important. You can either choose to have an app that ultimately gets published to the app marketplace, or have an app that's private to just the users of your merchant account. This is what you can see here. Once you make this decision, you can't go back. So obviously, take some time to think that through. From there, you can choose a version. Now, I only have one version of my test app, but you might be able to choose multiple different versions. Okay, so now we're going to create an app listing page for our app. And the goal of the app listing page is to explain to merchants why they might want to use their app, how it's going to make them more productive or make their business more successful. And as you can see, when you fill out information on the left-hand side here, it's going to populate on the right so you can see what it will look like for Stripe users in the Stripe marketplace. So let's go ahead and get started. So the app name, just want to make sure that it represents the app and what we actually do, and doesn't, falsely claim to be somebody else's app. We'll grab a logo. And the important thing with the logo is to make sure that it has a 1-to-1 aspect ratio. Who it's built by. In this case, it's me, but you'll want this to be your business, whoever people would recognize you as. You can pick up to 2 categories for your app where you think you're most relevant to merchants. And then you can provide a little bit of information about how your app works, and then a little bit about your business so that people can understand who you are and why they should do business with you. And then you can give up to at least 1, but up to 3 app features that explain to users why they should use your app. And we find that it's useful here to focus on what the app specifically does, not just the business, so that merchants can decide whether or not they want it to be integrated with their Stripe account. And then we can provide a little bit of information there. And then once again, we'll upload an image. It's useful here to check out the templates on Figma that help making these featured images as easy as possible. Let's see. My app is going to be free. Let's see, based in this one. And then just important links available for merchants. Okay, now that I have added all of the listing information, I will need to make sure that I provide all the test information that app reviewers will need in order to test the app. So I can confirm the version, and then I can add test credentials. In this case, my app doesn't need this to log in, but if you do need it, make sure to add it there. And then I can provide a little bit of information. So install the app and ask for bubbles. The more detailed that you can be here, the better, because if reviewers can't follow what your app needs to do, they're not able to approve. And then you can add additional information to make sure that other people are able to get app updates, and add a phone number if needed. And then you can submit it for review. Once the app is submitted for review, you'll see that it's pending, and when to expect, excuse me, you'll see that it's pending review, and you should expect to hear back in somewhere between 5 and 10 business days. All right, so that is the process of publishing an app. Now just a little bit of advice around what I've seen work well for app developers in the marketplace so far. So the first thing, no surprise, is get super crisp on your use case. The best apps I've seen do one or maybe two things really, really well. And in my opinion, the apps that try to do too many things oftentimes have a little bit of a harder time. We've seen a lot of merchant or user energy around apps in the marketing and productivity space. Similarly, in financial services, there's a lot of excitement there. And I think the key thing is thinking about what specific type of Stripe merchant, and in some ways, the more specific, the better. What do they need, and how can you give it to them in a way that nobody else is giving it to them? That's number one. The second thing that I'd recommend is to take a read through the app review requirements. I'll post a link in the video description to that portion of our docs. It's not terribly complicated, but there are some things that you need. So an easy read through there will help, and you should be on your way. And then the last thing I'd say is the most successful developers have a plan for marketing their app once it goes live. So, we use the marketplace to promote apps and to make sure that merchants can find them. But any way that you can send your target user there and make it easier for your target user to find you, the better. So think about how you're going to share the word. Yeah, that's all I've got. If you have questions or ideas or whatever, add a comment or check the description below. I'll put some information on where to find me, and would love to talk to you about getting your app on the marketplace.